Welcome back to One Piece Anime Re-Review, Part 23B. 24B. Yep. This one discussing episodes 395 to 405. Yeah, stuff gets freaking crazy in these episodes. How crazy, you might ask? Well, we have the auctioning beginning. And Kami is basically representing the 16. Now, Sabaody is here, but he's not active just yet. First, they show off like a singer soul for this amount of money, and a maid. Yes, a maid is sold as a slave. It's this how this place works. They got Kami, the prize attraction, and of course Nami wants to buy her back for 200 million berries. And their celestial warlord comes in. A celestial drag comes in, bids 500 million. And So's like, oh crap. And then we have Luffy crash in the ceiling. Hey, better go get Kami back. And then we have the idiot celestial dragon. Yeah, these jerks. Because, oh yeah, there's so much prejudice against the fishman. This guy just shoots him just because he's a fishman. Wow. Blatant racism there. And Luffy, at first, is stopped, trying to make a scene, but he does. He walks up the Celestial Dragon and punches him right in the frickin' face. Bam! Right in the big, like a big haymaker, and sends the guy flying halfway across the room. And because of that, the guy's father decides to call Navy. Yeah, this is where we get the baby of Kusuku, one of the admirals. He was mentioned by Nico Robin way back in Long Island, the last couple episodes, when we figured out Aokiji. And so, Navy's dispatched. But before that, Rayleigh comes by with a giant and proceeds to open up a wall, has the giant open up a wall, frees Kami by using Haki. This is the first time Haki is mentioned at this point. Despite the fact we've had some displays of this. Well, this is actually the second time it was brought up, because the first time it was brought up was when Shanks visited Whitebeard. Because his Haki, the color of the Supreme King, is not exactly as, when he walks, apparently sends people to sleep, and Luffy uses it later in the next major arc of the series, Amazon Lily. So he frees him, and it's like, okay, he's like, I always wanted to meet you. He's like, let's discuss this a little more quieter place. And then we have Luffy, Kid, and Law go outside, and they're confronted by a bunch of Marines. When we show off some of these characters' Deathroot powers, we see Captain Kid is a magnet man. Yep, he absorbs metal. We see Law's power for the first time. His particular power, he can play a room and have people swap. Slice up, and he's referred to as Surge of Death. We also see, we do see Jewel. We see Jewel the Glutton's power, and her power is the power to age or de-age people. We don't actually see it displayed on the screen. We just see the aftermath of it, which I thought that was kind of weird. We see Gangben's different power, the Fortress power, which, here's the strange thing about this. After this arc, Gangben's, as far as I know, does not return again in this series until Hokage. Jewel does, yes. She returns a couple times after this, mostly in very small appearance. I think the next person, I think she's basically on the run, then she's found by Aokiji. I will discuss that later when I discuss Fishman Island. Yeah. And in the case of everybody else, Captain Kid does pop up after this once with another character, Scratch Archipelago, and his different power is that he can basically make his body into musical instruments. Like his teeth are pretty much a piano, and he can make his arm like an actual horn, and he just beats his chest like a drum. And he uses it against Kizaru, who's battling the Mad Monk. He, from what I can tell, kind of has different power, though it's not really say what his different power is. He just goes giant size and basically puts on a lot of muscle. And basically starts beating up what appears to be Bartholomew Kuma, but nope, it's not him. This is one of 3 Bartholomew Kuma show up before the actual one shows up. But before that, after the Straw Hats pretty much escaped from the auction house, they all race back to Shiki's bar, where Rayleigh reveals his backstory a little bit. They do reveal he's a, and this is based on something I already knew, he was a member of the Gold Roger Pirates. He was the vice captain. He was the most Dark King. They mentioned that whole Dark thing. This was mentioned by Captain Kidd. It's like, wow, I didn't know we had a big shot here. Well, being the vice captain of the Roger Pirates does count. And it reveals exactly what happened with Roger, why he was executed, and the whole thing. I'm sure they did mention that there was a claim that he captured the whole crew, and why he was the only one not captured. Well, there was a reason for that. Roger disbanded the crew before he was. They didn't say he was he wasn't actually captured. That was actually a lie. Yes, he actually turned himself in. Why? Because the man was already dying. Yep. That was the reason why. And he also reveals that the doctor that Brooke knew back in the Twin Capes where Reverse Mountain is, he did briefly serve with the Roger Pirates. Yep, of course there has been several other people who've been on the Roger Pirate crew. I mean, aside from Shanks, Rayleigh, and Buggy, aside from those three, like Dr. Croc, I think his name is, the one who first played a Reverse Mountain 2-parter, which he did appear at the end of Thriller Bark. And in case you're wondering, these are the only people who served with Roger's crew. More is explored about this both in the Zoo Island arc and frickin' Wano. They don't bring up the fact about Go Roger's ship very much, but he does remember the whole thing with Shanks. And Shanks is the reason why he wanted to meet him. Like because he knew he has potential. He's wanted to meet him for 10 years, so now's the time to meet him. Of course, Luffy is basically eating out of Shiki's fridge. Though it's surprising that, here's the thing, Sanji does not do his usual thing whenever he sees a beautiful woman, he just goes stir craving love. Yeah, for some reason he's doing the Shiki for some reason. And it's very implied Brooke has got a thing for her. But in case you're wondering, does this go anywhere? Absolutely not. Because Shiki herself does return after this in like one arc. I think she returns at the end of Marineford with Rayleigh. Actually, no, it was not. It was actually returned at Sabaody Archipelago, which is post time skip. That's actually her last appearance in the series. So she does return after this. Know about the Mad Monk after this, after he gets sort of in a way defeated by, well, Kuzro. As far as I know, he doesn't reappear ever again. He just disappears in the series. It's not known exactly what happened to him. He doesn't show up in any arc I can think of after this. At least the rest of the characters do. Scratchman later appears with Basil Hawkins and Captain Kidd to form an alliance to take down Red Hair Shanks. Before two of them are captured by, well, Kaido. That's explained later. That's explained post time scale what happened to them. But later those characters do appear. But it's strange that we use this new character, Mad Monk, and you do nothing with him after this. It's kind of weird. So yeah, they had came in low profile, and he goes, "Oh yeah, let's go to the amusement park." This fact, and they're no more than probably about 5 minutes away from where Shiki's bar is. That's when they're attacked by Bartholomew Kuma. Well, a Bartholomew Kuma. And after a long grueling battle, they do in fact defeat this one, though it turns out this is actually not him. And of course, here's the thing. Sanji, now here's the thing. Sanji and Zoro were the first one to note this. This is not him because his hands are different. Because this one's got a little hole inside of both hands. Because Bartholomew's hands basically have got little paws on them. Cat paws. Yep. Of course, Luffy's impressed by the laser beam. Yeah, and Frankie's like, wait, that can't be possible. This technology doesn't exist. X-Drake is here too. In case you're wondering, he does return after this. But it takes him a long frickin' time to return after this particular arc, where he is shot by Kuzuru. And as far as I know, I think next time let me think. I think the next time he pops up after this is actually in Wano. Because he doesn't appear throughout the rest of the first half of the series. And he does appear in Fishman Island, not any cutaway stuff. And he does appear in Dressrosa, so I think like next physical appearance of this character is actually in Wano, where he works for frickin' Kaido. Yeah, it seems like half of the like 11 supernovas that were described, with the exception of Luffy and Zoro and Gang, about half of them work for frickin' Kaido at that point. Yeah, they revealed that in a later arc that like half the supernovas work for him, like about three of them, like Hawkins, X Drake, and Scratchman. Though that's revealed a little bit later. Uh huh. After the beam, and all of a sudden we have Sigurd, some big strong guy. Don't worry, this guy does reappear after this. He appears in 2 arcs after this one. Of course, they find very. They do you think exactly he carries big axe him. He doesn't really use the axe against the Straw Hats for some reason, and it's implied he's Kuzuru's nephew. It's from what the little research about this, that he's not actually his nephew. He just calls that probably a respect for him. Also, when Kizuru first arrives down, he tries contacting his nephew via his black transponder snail. And it turns out, nope, that's not how you talk to him. Use a baby transponder snail that's actually in his pocket. That's the Kizuru contacts him. And eventually, they go after various people now. Kid and Law are confronted by one of the Pacificas. The one that Luffy and the Straw Hat face is Pacifica is PX04. Circus at 1. I think that the one that face off against X Drake, Basil Hawkins, and Scratchman Puckle, I think that's PX05. In the case the one face off against Law and Kid, I think that might be either 2, 3, or 4. 2 or 3. They don't really say which one actually is the one face off against that one. You know, I think it's 5 for the other one because, well, they kind of said later it's actually 5. Though that one's actually not defeated. The only one actually is defeated is PX04. That's barely defeat him. Yeah. And about to run away because I remember saying too strong. And then the actual Bartholomew Kuma shows up and sort of erases Zoro. And then one by one he starts erasing people like. Then he sends PX01 someplace. Though the strange thing is, it's never been revealed exactly where he sent that robot. Yeah, that Pacifica has never shown up in the series again because, well, they had other Pacifica show up after this, but PX01, where he was sent, is completely unknown because Oda has never revealed exactly where he was sent. He just disappears and is never seen again. Eventually, they lose Brook, Sanji, Usopp, Nami, Frankie, Chopper, who also had gone to his monster form for the second time in the series. First time since Eddie's Lobby has gone monster form. And then finally Robin, and then all of a sudden Luffy is the only one left, and he's crying. And before he sends out like their half of the crew, he briefly talks to Rayleigh, and he's like, "Really? You really want me to do that?" He's like, "Yes, I want you to do that." And Kuzu's like, "You care to explain?" And Kuma's like, "I can't tell you. It's between me and the world government to discuss it with them." What it was is basically, from what I can tell, it just basically is Rayleigh being asked by Kuma to train Luffy in hockey, and also to help him basically deal with the fact that he's probably in trouble with the world government. So, and of course, they may also mention Vegapunk. Now, X-Drake does kind of know about the Pacificas, but he did not know they advanced as far in their technology. So it's interesting, out of the 11 supernovas, only X-Drake knows about them. Well, there's a reason for that. He's a former admiral from the Marines. Yeah, he joined the Pirates for some reason. Also, his different power is they can transform into a T-Rex. No joke. Basil Hawkins can transform into a straw man. Yeah, he transforms into a giant scarecrow, though they do actually do a little more development of this in the Wano arc. Yeah, he shows up a lot more of this particular ability in Wano. Because here it's like showing off like a good preview of it, but nothing is done with this until Wano. Yeah. So I think, oh yeah. And eventually Luffy set off and like, oh yeah, this was the day that the Straw Hats all were eradicated. They all didn't die. What happens with all of them? Well, Luffy will find out what happens in the very next story arc with Amazon Lily, because that's where he ends up. Where everybody else end up, I'll discuss that when I test Friend Separation Serial, which is actually just a quick little 6-parter. Yeah, so that's it for this particular review. My next view will be a comic corner, okay? See you next video. Bye.